Hello and welcome back to Hestia's Muse, podcast for astrological devotionals. My name is Liliana Blackstar, and I am here to bring you a spiritual devotional of self-discovery and personal growth that is in some way inspired by astrology. Join me to tune into astrological transits and the Wheel of the Year for inspiration in your greatest task in life, to know yourself. Hello and welcome back. I'm so glad that you are here as I continue to talk about astrology through the lens of the tarot cards. And we are continuing with a series where we are looking at the minor arcana cards in relation to astrology, specifically the decans. So we are now getting into Virgo season. So the decans are subdivisions of the signs. Each sign is divided into 3 parts, a beginning, a middle, and an end. These are 10-degree sections. So the first decan of Virgo is from 0 degrees through the end of 9 degrees Virgo. And this section of the zodiac is related to the tarot card, the Eight of Pentacles, which we are going to get into today. So each sign is ruled by a planet. As you probably know, Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. However, each decan is also ruled by a sign. It's like a sub-ruler. So you can think of the planet that rules over the whole sign as like the manager, and then the planet that rules over the decan is like the shift manager, and they work together. So this first decan of Virgo, that first 10-degree section of Virgo, is sub-ruled by the sun. So therefore, you could interpret that section of the zodiac as having both a Mercury and Sun influence, or to represent the sun in Virgo. And you also, when you're interpreting the Eight of Pentacles, you want to remember that there is a Sun and Virgo energy combination happening with this card. So first of all, let's just talk about the Eight of Pentacles. In traditional Rider-Waite-Smith images of this tarot card, you see a figure at a workbench. He has some work tools, and he's usually making some kind of pentacle or coin. And hanging on the wall above him are some more coins that he has obviously made. And there's a couple by his feet. So it's giving the image of a craftsman hard at work creating his craft. So the key words and concepts for the Eight of Pentacles card are apprenticeship, craftsmanship, being methodical, dedication, being detail-oriented, expressing diligence or discipline, putting in effort, maintaining focus, hard work, learning a trade, mastery, perfectionism, perfecting an art or a skill, perseverance, skill development, training, work ethic, and zeal. So I already would, just with those words, you get a lot of Virgo energy, right? The Virgo energy of being detail-oriented and perfectionist and practicing discernment and discipline. So there's already a lot of Virgo energy in this card right off the bat. In general, the Eight of Pentacles, or sometimes known as the Eight of Coins, has a meaning centered around dedication, skill development, and focused effort. This card usually signifies a period of concentrated effort where your attention is devoted to mastering your skills or completing a project. The Eight of Pentacles encourages a disciplined approach and highlights the value of consistent practice. It suggests that by investing time and energy into refining your expertise, you can make substantial progress towards your goals. So this card often appears when you're on a path of self-improvement or professional growth, reminding you that the journey itself holds rewards. There's enjoyment in the process of learning. It's hard work, but there is a reward at the end because you are perfecting a skill or getting better at something, right? So this card underscores the importance of persistence and dedication as you work towards achieving something and having a sense of accomplishment. The master did not become the master overnight. They worked hard as an apprentice and learned from other people, and they learned from practice, and they learned from their mistakes. So generally, this card represents the process of becoming the master through the apprenticeship, through the learning, through the practice, and even through the making of mistakes. So this is showing the energy of knowing that there are benefits gained through dedication and hard work. There's also a warning in this card about maybe becoming a workaholic or being obsessed with perfectionism, becoming a zealot, or committing all of your life force and attention to this one task or goal. That would be kind of the downfall of this card, as on the one hand, it's really good to be working hard to get better at something and perfect your craft. On the other hand, there is a chance of kind of getting so sucked into it that you're not paying attention to anything else in your life. You're just really committing all of your attention to this one task, this one goal, or you're being a perfectionist, and that can be stressful, and that can be detrimental to other areas of your life because you're ignoring other areas of your life. So that's kind of the downfall of this card. But for the most part, it's usually just depicting like you've got some hard work to do, but there's a good reward coming if you stick with it. There's a period of learning, there's a learning curve or an apprenticeship that you need to go through in order to get better at something, and that there will be some kind of reward. So just going back to the astrology of this card, obviously there is the Virgo energy, but also we want to talk about the sun being the sub-ruler, because Virgo is very mercurial, so there's that Mercury energy inherently in the Virgo energy, that attention to detail, that focus, that commitment, that dedication. The sun, however, is about an individual's identity, vitality, and life force. The sun symbolizes your personal fundamental personality traits, your conscious self-expression, and a drive to shine authentically in the world. So the sun is about your own path of self-discovery and personal growth, personal self-expression. So we can kind of see that in this card, the skill that is being learned or the goal that is being worked on is for the person's self-development and personal growth. There is something here that is speaking of a very personal project. The figure in this card is motivated for their own reasons. It's not depicting someone who's being forced to labor at a job that they don't care about. This is someone who wants to learn the skill that they're learning. They want to perfect their talent. They want to achieve this task or this goal. And it's aligned with like them finding their higher purpose, or like being on their own personal path of self-discovery and personal growth and self-expression. So this isn't just about having to go to work in a menial, pointless job. This card is depicting going to work for something that you feel passionate about, something that is personally motivating to you or helping you grow as an individual. So as the sun goes through the signs, the sun highlights or activates different areas of life, bringing attention to personal growth, opportunities, and challenges. And this card would definitely be related to the sun going through the sign of Virgo. So Virgo, again, you know, it's that earth sign ruled by Mercury, known for practicality, attention to detail, analytical thinking, and also a strong desire to be of service or helpful to other people in some way. Virgo is not necessarily self-serving energy. Its attention and practicality and analytical thinking is because it wants to be of service to other people or the world at large and make things better, not just for yourself, but for others. So the sun in Virgo prompts a focus on organization, efficiency, and problem solving. Whenever the sun is in Virgo, you might find yourself drawn to tasks that require meticulous planning and precision, and you're assessing situations critically and methodically so that you can come up with practical solutions and improvements in various areas of life. The sun in Virgo encourages you to pay attention to the finer points, whether it's your work, your health routines, or your daily responsibilities. This is an opportune period for self-improvement as you're inclined to analyze your habits and make adjustments that lead to greater effectiveness. Virgo wants to be effective. Virgo does not want to waste time. The sun wants self-improvement and like having these moments of self-development. So often in Virgo season, we analyze our personal habits, our health routines, our just, you know, what are the little things in life that make our life be more efficient and effective, and what's going to help us achieve our goals in a more effective and like practical way. Overall, the sun in Virgo empowers you to shine a light on the details, enhancing your ability to contribute meaningfully to life, to the well-being of yourself and others. So again, looking back at the Eight of Pentacles and thinking about this energy of the sun and Virgo energy, if you compare the meanings and the general concepts of sun and Virgo, you have a focus on self-improvement. You have a focus on serving others through hard work, attention to detail, and being practical. And there's an edge to this motivation that says this is personal. There's an underlying sense that I am not just here to simply complete the task, but I want to learn how to do this task efficiently and perfectly, as if this alone will help prove my worthiness and help me achieve some kind of life purpose or meaning, add meaning to my life. So the apprentice wants to prove himself to the master. or perhaps the artist just wants to show the world what they envision in their mind, but they have to work very diligently to create this perfect specimen in physical form. It's one thing to imagine and visualize something in your head, but when you go to create it in the physical form, that takes more skill and patience and diligence to like actually bring to life and manifest the thing that you imagined into reality. So here's Mercury is like the imagining, the thing that you can picture in your head. And then the sun is the desire to like make it real and make it meaningful and do it right. And then the Virgo energy is bringing that ideal Mercury energy into physical earthly form. And eventually you want to either perfectly create the thing you had envisioned in your head, or if you're learning a skill from someone else, you want to not just do it right, but you want to do it the best, and you want to be the very best at this task. There's the energy of the apprentice wanting to outshine the master and eventually become the master, right? So one, I think we could speak of a little bit again of this downfall of Virgo energy is the tendency to overthink things and to become so caught up in the details that you get overwhelmed with anxiety, right? When you have that perfect vision in your mind and then you realize all the little tiny steps and details that it's going to take to bring that into reality, it's stressful. It's overwhelming. It creates a sense of anxiety because now you're like, okay, if one of these little things goes wrong or doesn't fall into place just right, then it's not going to be exactly the way I wanted it to be. So there's this tendency to overthink things and become a perfectionist. There's like such a strong desire to control the outcome of the project that every step is micromanaged and overly controlled. And in this state of anxious perfectionism, there's no room for mistakes. But in that, there's also very little room for creativity or outside the box thinking. So the apprentice can get stuck trying to do the task exactly the way they were shown how to do it, or making it try to be exactly like what they envisioned in their head, and therefore they're not allowing any experimentation or flexibility because there's this fear of failure or a fear of wasting time and not being efficient, not getting it just right. So the Virgo then can become so overwhelmed with anxiety and stress about getting things done just right that they actually make more mistakes, injure themselves, or bring on stress-induced illnesses that prevent them from completing the task or going to work and doing the task. So these are things that I would probably associate if you got this card, the Eight of Wands, in a position or maybe reversed that was telling you there's some blockages or negative energy happening with this card. It's when that apprentice is being too obsessed and too pedantic and perfectionist. And they need maybe to be a little more flexible and learn to go with the flow a little bit more, and not be not get caught up in perfectionism. So you can also see that sun energy even in the negative aspects of this card, because the sun is very all or nothing type energy. It's very enthusiastic. And while life-giving, the sun can be too much, right? And in the northern hemisphere, when it's Virgo season, it's the end of summer and it is brutally hot. And that's kind of, again, like it's like the sun is doing too much, right? So the sun is being like this Virgo energy where it's like, wow, you're really beating down intensely. And yes, we appreciate the sun giving us life and heat and light, but whoa, right? So that's kind of this Virgo energy of the apprentice becoming like the workaholic and super obsessed with perfectionism and doing their job, and they're just doing too much, and they're going to hurt themselves or turn people off or make themselves sick in some way. So there's just a lot that can, like, there's a cautionary tale with this card and with this energy that we need to keep in mind, that, like, yes, it's great to be motivated. It's great to have a goal and be very focused on that goal and have the determination and the perseverance and be disciplined. But if we apply all of that energy too much, then we're likely making ourselves sick with stress or overworking ourselves, or other parts of our life are suffering because we're only paying attention to this task or this project or this work, right? So what's going on in your relationships? What's going on in your relationship with your kids or your family or your health or just other areas of life, your spirituality? We have to remember to balance with the other things and not just be so focused on this one project that we're trying to complete and perfect that we are obsessed, right? So that's kind of all that there is for this card. It's pretty straightforward. You're in a period of motivation, you're in a period of hard work, and that can be really good, but it also has its downfalls if you're not careful. So there are some questions that I have that you can ask yourself. You can journal these questions if you want to. I'm going to pause a little between each question, but you can pause the recording if you want to write down the question, or if you want to take some time to think about it. And additionally, I came up with 8 questions, and as a bonus, you could ask these questions in a tarot card reading format. So you would draw one tarot card for each question to help use divination to help you explore these parts of yourself. And there's 8 questions because there's 8 coins or pentacles on the card. So there's one question for each pentacle. So we're going to go through those right now. What are you enthusiastic to work on through this harvest season? What self-improvement projects are you currently devoting yourself to? What areas of your life need some repair or would benefit from some extra attention to detail? In what ways do you need to be more disciplined and focused? What kind of routines do you have in your life? In what ways are you burning too hot and bright with enthusiasm and determination? Are you being a perfectionist about something in your life right now? And the final question, how are you tending to your self-care to avoid burnout? All right. If you have in your birth chart the sun, moon, or rising sign in the first 10 degrees of Virgo, the Eight of Pentacles will be an important card for you in this lifetime. You can think of it as a card representing some of your most important life lessons. Additionally, if you were born with the sun in Virgo at any degree, this card is also very important throughout your life. If you have any other planets in your birth chart in the first decan of Virgo, this card will have special meaning in your life depending on the lessons of the planets in question. And then for those who do not have planets from your birth chart in this decan, you can still encounter the lessons and energies of this card periodically through your life. We will all have times when there is Sun and Virgo energy going on. We will all have times when the first decan of Virgo is speaking to us, or when we have this combination of Virgo and Sun energy sometimes coming through. You might have this card come up in a reading and you just need to reflect on its lessons, or you can come back to this devotional anytime that you get this card in a reading, or anytime that any other planets are transiting through this section of Virgo. It might be a good time to think about the lessons of this card to help you understand the energy that that planet is trying to teach you about or activating in you at that time. So that's it for this week, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you like it, I would super appreciate if you hit that follow button on Spotify, share the episodes on your social media if you like them, and if you want to show some extra support, you can come and join my Patreon for just $5 or $10 a month. It is www.patreon.com/Hestia'sMuse, and you can sign up to give $5 or $10 a month and have access to the written format of this podcast, as well as astrological updates, a monthly lunar calendar, and stuff for the new moon and the full moon, and other astrological stuff that's going on that's on my Patreon. I super appreciate it. You can also reach out to connect with me for a personal astrology reading. You can find me at how to contact me at my website, hestiasmuse.net, or you can find me on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Hestia's Muse. I'll be happy to hear from you. All right, I hope you all have a great week. Enjoy some of this focus and motivation of the Virgo energy, but make sure that you are taking care of your needs and not getting burnt out or obsessed or being too much of a workaholic. Have fun and take care.